Hey y'all, we are back with the relatable content.
Woo!
And so we're starting up first with a little eclipse information, little talk.
Yes.
The lunar eclipse is coming up. I know we've been talking about the solar eclipse,
Mm-hmm.
because we are going to have some totality action here in the United States, though not where we are
Not where either
particularly.
of us is
Yes.
really, yeah.
Though my friend is from Cleveland, right? And so they are in the path of
Yeah.
totality. And I'm like,
Oh,
hey, are you
shit.
gonna be at home? Because he would be here working.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh no, I'll be here. I'm like, I think you should actually stay at home. I think you should
Right.
stay and witness it.
It's
I'm like,
gonna
it's
be a
pretty
big
damn cool.
event. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Go
was like,
get in
also, I
on
have no
that.
idea what flights and stuff will be like getting in and out
Oh.
of that city during that time.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I wonder how that affects. Yeah, I'd be
Yeah. I
curious
was
about
like,
that.
might want to just keep that in mind also. Like things might be
Right.
kind of crazy that weekends ish.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yeah. But I'm like, yeah, I would like cancel a couple of things.
Right, because that's in April, right? The solar eclipse is in
Uh-huh.
April. Okay, yeah.
The total solar eclipse is April 8th.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a Monday.
Mm,
I would stay. I would
I
stay at
would
home.
stay.
But, only, and that's me saying that as someone who saw it again in
Right.
2017. So, like, yeah, I'd stay at home.
Yeah. Well, and again, we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but it was a really cool event. Like, I'm really glad. It's something I'll remember forever. Like,
Right.
yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
about this lunar eclipse? Tell me about
So
this. Because that's happening
on
on
another note,
the day
right.
that this episode drops, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So when this episode airs, we will be experiencing that evening the lunar eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And so this lunar eclipse is happening in the sign of Libra.
Libra.
And so we can kind of expect relationships, partnerships, those kind of relationships, those
Mm-hmm.
kind of energies. We can expect those to come to the forefront. Those
Right.
issues, those matters, any healing that needs to happen in those
Mm.
spaces. Can expect those things to come up. I don't know how much, I can't remember how much we've talked about eclipses, but we're going to talk more about them next week.
Yeah.
Um, but eclipses are typically like catalysts for change.
Right.
Those changes can be, lasting up and, until like 6 months, post
Mm-hmm.
those eclipses. So think about that in the terms of like relationships, things, matters of the heart, the
Mm-hmm.
emotions, the inner world, because again, we're talking about the moon. And
Mm-hmm.
so, any issues that need to be worked through, any things that need to be, moved through, those are probably going to be coming up during these times. Any changes that need to happen so that you can thrive,
Mm-hmm.
those things are going to come up at that time. So, what are your thoughts?
Hmm. I'm just, of course, I'm always like, I don't, maybe that's very Piscean of me to just always be like in the mood for a transformation. So, I'm like, yeah,
Mm.
bring it on. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. But I'm glad to know it's coming, kind of
I
thing.
mean, it's coming. And so, sometimes again, well, it's not Pluto. It's not Pluto involved, but
Right,
um,
right.
it does have to do with kind of when you think about the alignment of the lunar eclipse. So the moon is blocked by the Earth's shadow. And
Mm-hmm.
so in that way, it symbolizes our need to block out our ego, that sun piece, and reflect our emotional world, which is
Okay.
that moon piece. So just think about all of those things as this is coming up again. Episode drops the day of, so
Hmm.
if you listen to the episode the first day it drops, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll catch this little info. But you can still, again, eclipses are long lasting,
Right.
and so you can definitely work with this information and just keep this in mind. Any things that are coming up during this time, especially around relationships or any traumas, any wounds that
Mhm.
need healing, just pay close attention to those areas.
Okay. So that brings us to our next thing, which is I've got a couple of options for us today when it comes
Ooh.
to doing a celebrity birth chart. Although you were talking about big wounds and it kind of leads me towards one over the other, but I'm gonna tell you what they are and I'll let you pick. So
Okay.
I told Christine beforehand that I'm like very into Dune right now. The Duneverse, the Dune universe.
Okay,
I guess
Juniverse.
I
Okay,
just made that up. I
Juniverse.
don't think anybody's saying that. That's just me. I just made that up.
It's like it's the
Um,
new fandom, the Juniverse. You got it. With it.
so Christine is not as big into the Duneverse as I am,
I'm
but
not knowledgeable of the Juniverse. Not
I'm
much.
happy to give you a brief synopsis, and then really I just watched the second part of the Dune movie and it was very good. It's a very, very good film. It's got Zendaya in it. It's got Timothy Chalamet, who is a little cringe but like really a good actor. I just don't think that he's the heartthrob that everybody else does. I'm
Oh.
not into it in that way. But he's a great actor, I will say.
Hey,
Um,
that's what we hired you for.
yeah. So I was thinking either we could go over the two of their birth charts, or the other thing that came to mind, and this is more on the wounding end of the spectrum. Have you heard
Mm-hmm.
much about? So I know we've talked about a couple of our like we are pretty like we're close enough in age that most everything is same, but then I got some things that occasionally I'll make a reference to something from my childhood and you're like, I don't know. But I watched a ton of Nickelodeon when I was a kid, the
Yes.
network. And most of the shows that were not animated shows on Nickelodeon were produced by Dan Schneider. Are you familiar with the scandal around Dan Schneider?
No.
Okay. Do you know who that is? Like, have you
I
heard that name?
do.
Okay, okay.
I did watch quite a bit of Nickelodeon, so I'm like,
Yes.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah.
with you on Nick. Okay.
Okay, so he did all that. No, he didn't do all that. I just made that up. He did the Amanda Show.
Okay.
He did iCarly, I think. He did, maybe he did do, I don't know. He produced a lot of Nickelodeon shows and a lot of like Nickelodeon stars. Now, iCarly was actually like, that was past my time, but like I knew that it was a thing. And then there was some spin-off shows from that. So just kid shows, basically.
Yeah.
Drake and Josh. I don't know. I'm like trying to name off all the other kid shows that this guy produced. And he is like notoriously creepy and weird.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
there was like things on the shows that were weird. There's some weird things around all the child actors that have come out allegedly that
Oh no. Right.
he
Allegedly.
later like many people have said like he made me feel uncomfortable, like all this stuff. So I
Mm.
haven't seen it yet, but apparently they released a documentary about him very recently. So the things that I know are, one, I read this book over the summer called I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I know,
Oh,
jarring title. Really
yeah.
good book. It's a biography by Jeanette McCurdy. She played Sam on iCarly, and then she had her own spin-off show. So she was like a child star. She
Okay.
worked really closely with him. She talked about her experiences with him in the book, among some other things.
Mm.
And then somebody else, I think Amanda Bynes maybe has said some things about him, but also I don't know if you've checked in on Amanda Bynes lately. Like she's out there. She's like
She's not
definitely
well.
she's unwell. She's like has some
Oh no.
probably untreated mental illness things. So anyway, that has just been in the news a lot lately, and I really would like to watch the documentary. But the other person whose birth chart just randomly came up when I was looking at birth charts was Amanda Bynes' birth chart, and she is an Aries.
Oh. Oh wow.
So okay, sorry. That was like I went all over the place with that. So do you want to do the Duneverse or do you want to do Amanda Bynes?
Well,
Whoever we don't do this
kind
week.
of talked up Amanda, and I'm like, what's going on with Amanda? And also, what's going on? There's a lot of, okay, wait, this was not on the plan, but also
Yeah.
it just made me think of Kate Middleton, and I'm like, what's going
Oh shit. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? Actually, let me see what she is really fast, because what the fuck is going on with Kate Middleton? I didn't even
What's
think
going,
about
like,
that.
what's happening? Is she not, is she missing? Is there a double? It's like, what's happening?
Because that lady that they paraded out and they were like, here she is, she's fine. That was not Kate Middleton. That was some other bitch. Like,
It
that was
was
not
not
her. Everybody knows that wasn't her. We're all in agreement about that, right?
Yeah.
I think, okay. Do you want to hear my theory?
You know, we love a conspiracy. Come on.
Okay. So my theory is that Kate Middleton left Buckingham Palace because William stays having an affair, right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's for, I mean, I think
Damn,
that's like,
really?
well, look at his daddy.
Well, okay. Oh,
You know,
damn.
like, yeah.
I mean, but he was in love with that one. He was just in love with Camilla. Like he
was
just in love with Camilla. That was all fucked up. But yeah, I feel it. But damn, I didn't know about William. Now I got to get into some tea now.
I think, and I don't know if it's with the same woman or if it's with various women. I feel free to fact check me on this, but that is what I have. I've spent some time on Twitter or X, I guess. What I'm never going to call it that.
Makes it sound like you're doing drugs.
It really
but,
does.
We're not opposed to, but
definitely never opposed to. Okay, so I think that she doesn't feel like she has any power over the British royal family, but she's tired of him fucking around, and so she took the kids to some undisclosed location. She's not talking to the media. She's not like doing anything that she's not supposed to. But now the royal family is like, oh shit, we actually have to do something about this. We have to tell people like where she is, like, and they're panicking. So they're like, I think that's really what it is she's just like trying to put him in a difficult position to where he has to make some sort of a statement. Because I feel like the royal family is all kinds of fucked up, because I think,
oh yeah,
obviously, like, speculation on what happened with Diana.
Some fucked up shit.
Yeah, something fucked up. And so I think she knows that is not going to happen to her, but at the same time, she is like, okay, what can I do that's within my power here to like force their hand to, make some sort of a statement or get him to stop fucking around on me. And so she's just making it look like she disappeared. I don't know.
I mean, it feels like a high control group over there, It feels like, I used to really get into like, and I guess I probably still do. I enjoy period pieces and shit.
I know.
Like,
dude, you love it. You're the one that got me into Downton Abbey.
Okay, listen, I love a period piece, and I particularly like English shit. So, like, I got into the monarchy stuff, like going all the way back. I get into just weird, strange. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a romance piece or something that clicks with like my Pisces nature.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe.
But,
maybe.
Yeah. So that it's a thing. Like
it's a thing. Yeah. Do you have you been keeping up with any of the royal family drama of this? Any of this?
So I haven't, but I keep seeing things about Kate. And I'm like, what's going on with her? And so then I saw the thing with the, the picture with the kids, and she didn't have the ring on. I was like, uh-oh. That's the media. That's a telltale sign. When you ain't got that ring on, we go zoom in. She's not wearing the ring.
Something's wrong.
Someone's like, it's getting resized. It's this. She's bloated, whatever. There are literally so many
reasons. She's bloated.
I mean, people tell you all kind of reasons that they don't wear their rings, but like...
Sure.
Also, people who are celebrities or people who are, famous, no, it's a known thing. Like, you can't be out here without your ring on.
Right. You know what you're doing.
Solid, ironclad excuse
and
reason, and your spouse co-signs it.
This is the fucking royal family. If your ring was getting resized, they'd give you a replacement. They have a faux. Band or something,
Because they have a whole replica.
Yeah. Something's wrong over there, that's for sure.
There's definitely something wrong. I was like, oh no, because I did see the fake Kate I was like, oh, that is not her. Oh
That's
my
not
God.
her. Yeah.
Stop.
That shit is
Stop
wild
it,
to me.
trying
It's
to
like,
pull
do
up.
y'all think we're stupid?
We are not dumb. We know
We
what
are
Kate
not
look like.
dumb. Like, what? You might have been
We've
able
been
to
here the
pull
whole time.
that.
We just seen the wedding. We was here.
Yes.
We was there when they was dating in college. At least I know I was.
Okay, so I also have been reading, and again, this is all speculative, alleged, whatever. But I've seen a bunch of people on Twitter talking about how Kate Middleton is like really, I hate to say it like this, but she's kind of a pick-me because her, like, she knew that she just was like trying to be in the room with the royal boys or whatever, because she was like, I'm finna be a princess. I'm about to be the Queen of England. Like, because she had the right bloodline or whatever.
Yeah.
And her whole, like, everyone that has like said anything about her is like, oh yeah, she was annoyingly like trying to get in the room, trying to get next to him. Like, that was always the goal, was for her to be, you know,
well,
in the royal family. And yeah, look, now you got what you wanted, and it's not so great, actually.
I don't know who thought it was. I mean, I'm like, look, did you watch the stuff that I was watching? I mean, the history. The whole history of all of this is real fucked up. Like, do you want to join this?
I also saw, which I'm old enough to remember this, I'm certain that you also recall, that William and Harry used to be like heartthrobs. Like, and William especially was the hot one. He has aged like a piece of raw meat. Like, he looks so
like,
bad.
William was having an affair like that. But I was like, I mean, I know he's in, I know his position, but I'm like,
yeah.
Now listen, no, not today's William. Now maybe the young William, yeah, when they was, young.
Right.
He had a little something going. I was still always a Harry fan. Harry always,
you chose right.
Love a redhead. We love a little ginger. Like, we just
okay, good to know.
Harry was always cute.
Good to know.
And he just got better with time. I was like, look at this man.
He really did. He really did. And then he married Meghan. He really seems to be the one doing it right. Although I'm sure that the entire family is deeply traumatized.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For a myriad of reasons, but
yes.
Yeah. Anyway. So as it turns out, just in case you were curious, it looks like Kate is a Capricorn. No. Is that right? Capricorn, yeah. She's
okay.
January 9th?
I can see that.
That's Cap. That's Cap.
And that very much fits with what you were saying about, I mean, I don't want to say Capricorns are pick-me's, but also
but the determination to succeed and knowing exactly what you needed to do that. Yeah.
Ladder climbing is a part of Capricorn. Like, my status is elevating.
Right. Yeah. Now I want to know what Prince William's sign is. Okay, sorry, I'm not going to do the whole birth chart. I just am here.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm here for it.
Okay, Prince William, like, June 20.
Live, y'all.
Is he a Gemini or is that a Cancer? June 21st.
What's his
June
birthday?
21st.
Should be Gemini. Cancer. Is it right at the end?
It's 1980. Let me just look it up.
Yeah, it's somewhere that's cuspy. It's always cuspy around those dates.
This says he's a Cancer.
Okay, Cancer.
June 21st, 1982 at 9:03. But you're right on that edge for sure.
Yeah. I wonder if he gets, he might be having some emotional affairs.
Oh, which some might say that's even worse.
A lot of people
meaning me, I would say that's worse.
Did you say not you?
Some meaning me, like I would say that's worse. Yeah.
Those emotional affairs are rough. Yeah.
Fuck around if you want to, but like don't be
emotionally.
That's a whole different deal.
What?
That's a whole different deal. And really, I'm just gonna be mad that you lied to me and you didn't tell me about it.
Why can I be a part of it? Like, what? Just trying to see why I can't be a part.
Come on, we just had this whole conversation about couple to throuple. Are you fucking kidding me?
Hello?
Yeah. Anyway, okay, sorry. Now let me get back to what I was actually doing. Where is the Amanda Bynes birth chart? Okay, here we go.
So, they fit Capricorn and a Cancer. Yeah.
It does technically go well together.
Opposites.
All right. So, are you ready for? Are you ready to
Right.
shift gears and get the Amanda Bynes birth chart?
Ooh, take a deep breath.
Okay,
You all right, girl?
here we go. Um, April 3rd, 1986 at 8:06 a.m. All right, she is giving us Sun in Aries, Moon in Aquarius, which I bet that's an interesting placement.
Yeah. That Aquarius moon is always interesting. And the combination, whatever combination it gets, gives you even more interest, right? It's the Aquarius moon placement, and then like, what is it? What is the sun placement? What is the rising placement? Like all of that.
Because then this Aries sun, obviously. Mercury in Pisces.
Okay, interesting.
Venus in Taurus.
Okay.
It's at home there, yeah?
Yeah, very sensual, very...
Yeah. Mars in Capricorn, which is also solid placement. Jupiter in Pisces, Saturn in Sagittarius.
Okay.
Uranus in Sag, also Neptune in Capricorn, Pluto in Scorpio. North Node is in Taurus. Chiron is in Gemini. Oh, the ascendant is in Taurus as well.
Oh, she's got some similar placements to me. North Node and ascendant in Taurus. Like, yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
So, like, you look at these similarities, like, what's going to be similar? What's going to be similar?
Yeah, so...
Okay.
There is the
some
Amanda
interesting...
Bynes.
Okay. So, Aries Sun, Aquarius Moon, Taurus Rising.
Let's see. So, we've also got some aspects on here if you would like me to...
Oh, sure.
Read some of them off. She's got a Jupiter square Saturn. What? What's that giving you?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, their energies are they're almost opposite kind of energies anyway, you know? Think of how expansive and, optimistic Jupiter is and all that. And then you have Saturn that's very like,
Dad
realities
energy,
and responsibilities and, that kind of space. So it's, so them squaring is, I mean, it's not a great thing, but it's like, that's also not her personal energy.
Right.
I mean, it's not it's not that personal energy. It's kind of that, in between. It's like, I don't love it, but I'm sure it creates some challenge, right? Challenges.
Let me look at... Oh, okay. There's there's Jupiter square Chiron, but then there's also her moon is square to Pluto. Which that feels more of like a...
Yeah, again, remember those, any Pluto contact, it's like, it's unpleasant for her, at least. Was it this? Oh, yeah, this year, my solar return chart, I have the moon square Pluto. I was like, yeah, but she's got that in the natal. Okay, so that's some definite interesting energy.
Yeah. Pluto is also square her midheaven. And then... Yeah, I don't know. I'm still just like looking through if there's anything else that seems interesting.
She's got some Pluto squares, so she's definitely going to have some things to have to transform out of. So, probably some traumas. Definitely some. Yeah. Some traumas.
So that's my. that's
the
Celebrity Birth Chart Corner. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know actually how she is at this exact moment, but that just I feel like I've been hearing a lot about her and all of those like former Nickelodeon kid stars right now, just because of the Dan Schneider documentary.
And what is the Dan Schneider documentary on?
What is it called?
Streaming?
Look.
I love a documentary. So
I know you do.
Doesn't even matter if I know what it's going to be about. I'm going to learn while I'm there.
Okay, it's called... Is this right? Quiet on the Set. Let's see. Oh, okay. So he is Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side. Where is this? Investigation documentary, The Dark Side of Kids TV. It's a 4-part series about the problematic working environment at Nickelodeon. But tell me where I can watch it.
Right.
Oh, okay. It's streaming on HBO Max. There you go. Or Max,
All
I should
right.
say. Yeah.
So I need to renew my Max. Okay, I'm renewing it.
Okay, so we will actually watch that, and then maybe that's something we can discuss
We'll check
at
back
some
in.
point. Yes, at some point. Speaking of checking back in, do you want to talk a little bit about? I finished watching.
Yes.
Couple to Throuple. So
Couple
what
to
are we? What are our
Throuple.
thoughts?
Ooh, that was a wild ride. Okay. When I tell you, did you so once you caught back up, or once you
Yes.
jumped back in, things turned up.
Things did turn up. Look, I am waiting for the reunion episode. I know they gave us like a little synopsis to end.
I know,
but
and
like,
it makes me feel like that's their version. I'm like, no, we need a reunion.
We need a true
Put
reunion.
the reunion together.
Yes, because like, yeah, okay. So, what are your thoughts? What are your initial thoughts?
So, okay, there's so many different pieces. Okay, so when we come back, we'll I'll try to start as close as I can to episode 6. So Maximo and Ash come into the house, and that's kind of a stir. So Maximo is he's our femme presenting. I don't know.
I think they both identified as non-binary. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, binary. Okay,
yeah.
I was like, yes, non-binary.
Yes.
So, and then we have Ash. And so they're both MB. And so they're open to whoever.
Yeah.
And so, like, okay, that's a cool element. Like, all right.
They also, just as a couple, like, as soon as they came into the show, it was like, they just, like, kind of exude sex. And that like faded for me after I got to know them a little bit more. But then like initially I was like, oh, they're so intriguing. They're so sexy. I feel like everybody was just like
there's so much skin and just like, okay, like, all right.
I was
like,
into them.
Max always has like some kind of harness situation happening, or like fishnet bodysuits.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, come on.
Look at this look. Like, yeah. Very much they're serving. Yes,
they're always serving.
Yes.
They're here for the queers, and they're like, look, we got to show out for our folk.
And I was like, it's okay, I'm here for it. Because literally everyone else other than Rahman and Ashmal is like, just they're too straight passing for me. Like, give me something else to look at, please.
So I was here for it. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. So then we have some interesting femme energy with Rahman, and I feel like they were almost feeling Maximo for a second, but they knew. I mean, they weren't there for them. Maximo was not there for them.
Right.
But it was almost like, okay,
yeah. Yeah, but we can see that quickly turned into,
and then that changed.
Yeah,
and then it turned into some mess.
Yes.
So, short-lived, but yeah. So Maximo and Ash were interested in many people throughout their time, which, to some degree, I don't think that that's really a big deal, but I think because of the kind of show it is, it's like they're really pushing you towards, commitment to another person, a third person,
right?
Instead of allowing you to really like fully get to know these other people before you commit to them.
Right. And I think that is, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's part of it, because they're pushing that commitment, because that is what makes for interesting TV. I think you said that last time. But also, I kind of just want to watch the show where everybody in the house just kind of fucks each other, and then like maybe they make a deeper connection. There certainly was some of that happening, but like
some bed moving, especially in the boys' room. Okay, the boys' room was very active. I was like, listen, okay,
they were showing shit that I was like, oh, I didn't know they could show that on TV. Like, this is porn.
Like, I was like, you can tell exactly what's going on under those covers.
You sure can. I saw a lot of this,
a lot of this,
a lot of this, a lot of this. Like, yeah. Thank you to YouTube listeners who can see what I'm doing right now. But it was all like under a very thin sheet. I was just like, oh my god. Okay, Can I don't want to jump ahead. I don't know how much you want to talk about this.
No, you go for it. I just wanted to, come in right at the beginning and then we can move around.
Okay, so here's where we are at the end of the show. Obviously, they pick Jonathan, Ramon, and Ashmal. So they do this whole rigmarole where they go back and forth, and then they're like, "We hate Jonathan," and they're like, "Actually, we miss Jonathan. Right. We love Jonathan." And they
now we're still in love. And poor Frank.
Frank. Oh my God,
poor Frank.
Someone give Frank a chance. He is so fine. He's so fucking hot, and he's so sweet and like easy to talk to.
Frank, if you're into women, I'm not sure, but hey, I'm here.
Someone date Frank. I want to see Frank have his own show. Anyway,
come on,
justice for Frank. Okay, first of all, second of all, okay, fine. They all fuck around, and they finally decide that they're gonna get Jonathan. So after he's been with Maximo and Ash, clearly he's not into that. I don't think he's actually really that into women.
I don't think so either. I was like, how's that working?
Yeah. I think he just wanted to stay on the show and be in the house. And okay, so also
stick it to the boys.
He's friends with the girl that they had before, who I actually really liked.
Right.
And so you told her, you were like, you did the honest thing, and you were like, yeah, your couple is interested in me. But then you said yes. You still said yes?
But then you said yes.
Maybe they had some kind of agreement that we didn't see.
Maybe.
Anyway, all that to say, okay, it's the end of the show. They pick Jonathan. Jonathan picks them. Happily ever after. But then we see that in the aftermath, I want to know so badly. So Ramon and Ashmal actually broke up. And they both, like, it was actually Ramon and Jonathan that, like, stayed together. But then at the end, it was like Ashmal and Ramon are still, like, best friends. And actually now neither one of them talked to Jonathan. Right. Here's my theory. So I did never look it up, but the whole show, Ramon is wearing these t-shirts and these shirts or whatever that say Detroit Millennial on them. I think he like does it. I didn't look it up to see what that was, just because I know that that's what he wanted me to do. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. But like, I think he either has a clothing brand or like he's promoting something. And I think him and Ashmal were like dating, but not like super serious. And they both were like, all right, how about this? Let's go on the show. I'll promote my shit. We're dating. We'll bring in a third. We'll have some weird hot sex with a third. And it'll all just be good for everybody. And I think he's just like, I do think that he is the person that he was on the show. Like, I think he's bad at talking about his feelings and all of that. But I kind of think that it was just like a big ploy to promote his shit. And because it also said that him and Ashmal host watch parties for the show in Chicago, which is where they're from. And so I'm just like, I think that they're just really in the queer community and they were like looking for an in on a reality show. That's my theory.
Yeah. And I mean, guys are just, they're guys.
Right. So
it's like, hey, yeah, you want to do this? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We like to fuck each other. So
it's already out. We're,
why not grab a third person? Let's
fuck
all have
somebody
a good time.
else. Because the other thing they talked about was how they both all, like, they have an agreement that if they go out and they like make out with somebody else,
right? Yes, that's right. That did come out.
Yeah, and Jonathan was like, I'm not really down for that.
Right. He's like, no, wait a minute. No, what?
Yeah.
I might be kind of jealous about that. And they're like, oh yeah, we're cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, interesting.
I don't know. It was very interesting, but it was
very detached, right?
Yes.
Like,
yeah. I don't know. That was my thoughts about that.
So tell me, okay, I know we didn't talk much about Sean and Brittany.
Yeah.
And they had an interesting thing going on.
Darian.
I'm about to Darian. Okay,
yes.
I was like,
okay. Yes.
Yeah, because they had a little saga, and then, was
yeah.
Darian going to say Darian was also being courted by Maximo and Ash.
She was.
But also she was interested.
She was.
In Maximo's. And that was part of the drama because she wanted to kiss them.
Well, and I think Darian signed up for the show being like, yeah, I'm very open to polyamory, thinking that like the way that we talked about last week, where it's just like,
Right.
yes, polyamory means I get to have multiple partners. And then she
Yes.
got with Sean and Brittany and they were like, no.
You're ours.
But also they weren't fucking.
Right.
Which,
yes.
you know, not everybody is as much of a hoe as I am. That's fine. I understand that. Not everyone is ready to immediately jump into that, to like do the physical connection. But also it seemed like Sean and Brittany weren't really all that physical with each other anyway.
Right.
Which was interesting because they're both so sexy. It's like,
I mean, I'm like,
y'all are both.
damn, you don't want to touch that woman?
Yeah,
I'm like,
look
the
at
outfit she was
her.
coming out in, and I was like, my God.
And then I realized that
Oiled up and just
always just with the face and the outfits and the, like,
I'm telling you.
whew. Okay, so I had this show on. Victoria comes in. She immediately looks at the screen, does not know what's going on at all. She goes, that woman is way too hot for him. Talking about Sean and Brittany, and I'm like, look, isn't that how it always goes? Isn't that how it always fucking goes?
I'm like,
yeah.
She was every look. I'm like, damn, Brittany,
gorgeous,
killing them. Like,
also, speaking of sagas with them, I don't. Maybe this is just me. I know people have like a mental block sometimes, but the fact that they were on this show and she was like, I mean, I'm bi-curious. Like, girl, you are on a show to find a third. Like, you are queer.
Like, girl, what do you think is about to happen? Eventually, hopefully, you all will have a sexual relationship as well as emotional connection. Like, what did you think he was coming to get a best friend? I mean, it kind of, if you listen at one point, the way they describe it, even the way Sean described it, is like, you know, let me paraphrase, like, kind of like, oh, you know, when you get on my nerves sometimes, you can go and be over there with her.
It's like,
you know,
I'm sorry.
Get you a friend.
Yeah. What do you think polyamory? Look, again,
it's like sister wives or something, you know, like go over there with your sister wife and like leave me alone now.
What is happening here? Like, did I miss something where it's like, I think part of the requirement here is that you are open to
like all of
having
us.
Some kind of romantic or sexual experience, or ideally both, with this person. And
right.
Anyway. But good for her that she came to that conclusion. She came out as bi on the show. Good for her.
Brittany had some definitely some blocks to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just even with talking about her own feelings or what she wanted or expressing herself. So like, yeah, there was definitely some work that had to happen in there. I think they did a good job. Mm-hmm. It looks like they ultimately broke up, but because of some kind of, was it locational issue or vocation?
They lived in LA, but maybe one of them moved. I think they were all like, they ended on good terms.
Yeah, it seemed like they were, but then remember it said that Brittany and Sean got engaged.
They did, yeah.
But that Darian was not on the guest list to the wedding.
Oh,
they made sure to say that in the ending. Right, so I'm like, now wait a minute.
Okay,
that they were, amicable.
Yeah.
And now you saying she's not invited, so now I want to know why she's not invited. Why did you make, a point to say that?
You're not really that amicable, I guess. Right. So,
that could like, is it a very small wedding? Like,
right.
I have more questions now.
Because that very well also just could have been the producers being messy. Like, maybe they eloped. Right. Maybe they hadn't even had the guest list. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like, are you going to get invited to the wedding? Well, no. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, she's not going to be invited to the wedding. Like, well, y'all just, wait a minute. Why are you trying to make it so mess?
Right.
And she was really trying to handle things very responsibly. I will say, Darian was always trying to be very conscious and responsible. I feel like also Maximo and Ash, as much as they landed themselves in some mess, like
they were trying.
Definitely they were trying to be mindful of, like, we don't want to present polyamory in a certain way. We want to present it very responsibly, as much as we can, and as like a part of the queer community as well. Like, it just there's a lot of representation in there.
I think everybody, well, except on that end, I think for the most part, most of these people understood that they were embarking on, like, I am representing what a polyamorous lifestyle looks like to the mainstream who isn't exposed to this. And I think I think they were trying to do it responsibly, but like just by being on the show at all is like,
Yeah.
it's TV. It's for TV.
You're still gonna get the edit.
Yeah, you're still gonna get
We're
the
gonna edit as much as we can.
You can
make it
be
look as much as scandalous. Yeah.
Exactly. I also thought that it was really interesting very early on. Sean and Brittany's very first partner, who they then brought back at the end to be like, are you sure? Which also, that was so messy of them to be like, just in case.
I was like, are they about to switch her out?
You had some second thoughts. But their whole thing with her in the beginning was like, oh, she just wanted to teach us. She just wanted to teach us about it, which I also like. She was like, yeah, I grew up this way. My parents were. And I was like, that would have been a nice little addition to the rest of the show to be like, oh, yeah, it's normal to be in this lifestyle. And her, she grew up this way. You can be this way around kids and they can understand it in a healthy dynamic. Like, yeah.
Hello?
Also,
she was fine too. And I was like, hello?
Really?
Hey.
Okay, you know what? There was not an unattractive person on the show.
True.
Everybody was pretty hot, I think.
I was like, damn.
I don't think there's anybody on the show that I would not have fucked around with, at least a little bit,
I was like, what was going on in the singles house? Can we get a show about what was happening at the singles house?
I want some...
Are we telling you they weren't over there fucking each other?
I want some Big Brother action, like, what's the side story here? Yes. Absolutely.
Tell me what's happening at the singles house, because all of them. I'm like, oh, y'all just over there staying over here together, waiting to come back for the little swap ceremony.
Right, because they'd be like, and now it's time for them to leave the house. And it's like, well, where do they go? What do they do?
Where are they going?
What are they doing? They're still in this tropical location, just waiting.
They're staying at the hostel down the road.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Some other property. Apartment.
Let's see, who else? So Maximum and Ash, unsurprisingly, did not pick. What is her name? I cannot remember. I really liked her. I want to say Brittany.
Is it something with a B?
I wanted to say Brittany.
It's not Jess. It wasn't Jess, was it?
No, because that was
the first,
the swinger couples person.
Yeah, that's right. Jess. That was there.
They ultimately seemed like they ultimately broke up too, but then they were having a baby, so it's like,
right.
It's
like, okay.
Really? Okay, so one, other than Ashman and Raman and Ashmal. I don't know how I did that.
I didn't even catch that you were blending the
Rashman
names.
and Amal. I'm gonna call them that from now on. They were the only ones that broke up. Everybody else stayed together, I think.
Is it?
Not as a throuple, but like couples.
Oh, yes, the couples. Yes, the couple. Yeah, it almost seemed like that the couples that stayed together, that was like a catalyst into a different phase of life, like marriage, babies, things like that. Like, we just need to experience this one thing, and then we're going to get, almost like we're going to get serious. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to do the next step.
Which I was like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I'm about it. Like, all right, good for them. Whatever.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
yeah.
Maybe you'll come back to it or something.
Yeah.
Maybe
and then Wilder and Corey were still with Denise. They were the only...
But that was the success story. They were actually all still together, and she's going to move to the city where they are. Like, she's not there yet.
Maybe they were in LA. I think maybe they were in LA, and that she was getting ready to move there. So, yeah. I was pleasantly surprised was really cool about that.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Yeah. We need them to come back to the reunion and tell us, like, so, what worked, what clicked,
right.
Like, how are you making it work? Because no one else is in a throuple, from the show.
Right.
So, they're like our surviving couple at the end of the reunion show. These people are still together. Look at them. They're sitting on their own special couch. Like, yes, look at us. We're still in love.
Yeah, that's really, I need to see this fucking reunion show. So Peacock, get with it.
Put the reunion together.
Come on.
Get Andy or whoever.
Yeah.
Gonna put together for get Scott. Let's get into it.
Okay, what is he from? Should I know him from something else?
I don't know where Scott is from. I have no idea. Sometimes they just find us a little host.
A nice
and we
little
were like,
host,
do I know this person? And they seem kind of familiar, but also you don't know where you've known them from, but they're kind of attractive and like, where is this man from?
That's kind of the whole point, I guess, right? Like, yeah. I'm looking to see if I can find any of these people on Instagram, and I can't. Oh well, I'll find them
No?
later. Yeah, because I can't remember anybody's last name, so I'm just searching like their first name and then.
Well, Scott's name is Scott Evans.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you, Scott Evans. What is he from?
Scott Evans with the locks. I'm like, okay, Scott.
He's very attractive as well.
In the lifestyle. I'm like, okay.
Yes,
okay.
in the lifestyle.
I'm around.
Oh, he's on Access Hollywood.
Okay.
So he is from something.
So he is for okay.
Yeah.
All right, Scott. We didn't give you your due.
Okay. Sorry, sir. What else? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Any other thoughts on Couple to Throuple?
That's all. I think we can wrap it on Couple to Throuple. It was a wild ride.
It sure was.
It was very entertaining.
Honestly, not even as messy as I might have expected it to be.
Yeah, it could have been a lot messier. So I'm here for them trying to hold it together.
Yes, exactly.
And, present as best they could for a reality show. It's like it's not a documentary; it's a reality show.
Yeah.
So
it is exactly what you might expect. A little messy.
Yeah, a little producing. So yeah. I think this is a good time for us to take a break. We're going to take a very different turn for the meet.
Oh boy, we sure are. That's for sure.
We're talking about death. So let's take a good break here.
Okay.
And then we'll come back and get into the death meets. The dead meets.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll workshop it and come back.
All right.